Stop for a moment and think about yesterday. What did you think about? How did you feel? What did you do? Now think about the day before that. Same thoughts, same feelings, same routine. Now think about last week, last month. Are you starting to see a pattern? You're not living different days. You're living the same day on repeat. Different date on the calendar, same experience in your consciousness. This isn't poetic metaphor. This is documented neuroscience. Joe Dispenza has spent decades researching why human beings get stuck in repetitive patterns, and what he's discovered should shake you to your core. By the time you're 35 years old, 95% of who you are is a completely memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. You're not consciously creating your day. You're unconsciously replaying a program that was written years ago. You think you're making choices, but you're actually running on autopilot. You believe you're living in the present, but you're actually stuck in the past. You want tomorrow to be different, but your brain is literally wired to create the same tomorrow as yesterday, because that's the only future it knows how to produce. As Dispenza teaches, your thoughts and feelings create a neurological loop that keeps you trapped. You think the same thoughts based on your past experiences. Those thoughts generate the same emotions you've always felt. Those emotions drive you to think the same thoughts. And this thought-emotion loop literally hardwires your brain into fixed patterns and conditions your body to live in the past. Here's how the trap works at the neurological level. Every time you think a thought, your brain fires specific neural pathways. Think that same thought repeatedly, and those pathways become stronger, more automatic, more unconscious. Eventually, thinking that thought requires no effort. It just happens automatically. You're not choosing to think it. Your brain is firing the memorized pattern. The same process happens with emotions. Every time you feel an emotion, your body releases specific chemical signatures. Feel that same emotion repeatedly, and your body becomes addicted to those chemicals. Your cells literally develop receptor sites that crave the familiar emotional chemistry. This is why you can consciously want to feel differently, but find yourself pulled back into familiar emotional states. Your body is chemically addicted to who you've been. This creates what Dispenza calls the habit of being yourself. You've thought the same thoughts so many times that they're automatic. You've felt the same emotions so consistently that your body is addicted to them. You've performed the same behaviors so repeatedly that they're unconscious. And all of this together creates a personality, your personality, that is completely memorized and operates entirely from the past. And here's the devastating part. This memorized personality creates your personal reality, because your thoughts and emotions determine where you place your attention, what you notice in your environment, what opportunities you see or miss, how you interpret events, and what actions you take. When your thoughts and emotions are locked into past patterns, your experienced reality becomes locked into past patterns too. This is why people say things like, "Nothing ever changes," or "It's always the same." They're not exaggerating. It literally is always the same, because they're the same. Same thoughts producing same feelings, producing same behaviors, producing same experiences, producing same thoughts. The loop is closed. The day repeats. The past becomes the future. Dispenza's research shows that most people wake up in the morning and immediately start thinking about their problems. Their problems are memories from their past, connected to certain people and things at certain times and places. The moment they start thinking about their problems, they're literally firing the same neural networks from yesterday. They're instantly reconnecting their brain to the past. Then, because those problems are connected to specific people and circumstances, they start anticipating their predictable future based on their familiar past. They start thinking, "What do I need to do today? I have to go to this job I don't like. I have to deal with this person who annoys me. I have to face these same challenges. And in doing this, they're creating a predictable future based entirely on the past. Same thoughts, same neurological patterns, same chemical states. By the time they've had their morning coffee, their body is already flooded with the same stress hormones from yesterday. They've fired the same neural networks. They've triggered the same emotional states. They've activated the same gene expressions. They are literally the same person they were yesterday, last week, last year. And this same person will create the same day because that's the only day this personality knows how to create. This is the scientific explanation for why your life doesn't change, despite your desires for something different. You consciously want a new future, but you're unconsciously recreating your past. You want tomorrow to be different, but you keep thinking the same thoughts as yesterday. You want to feel differently, but your body is addicted to the same emotional chemistry. You want new experiences, but you keep performing the same behaviors. Dispenza discovered that this pattern is so pervasive that people literally live their entire lives never creating anything new. They just keep refining, improving, or rearranging the same basic life they've always had. Better job, same personality, new relationship, same emotional patterns, different location, same thought processes. The external details change, but the internal experience, the person living the life, remains identical. But here's where Dispenza's work becomes revolutionary. He's also discovered exactly how to break this loop. And it starts with a radical realization. If you want a new future, you must stop living in your past. If you want tomorrow to be different, you must become someone different today. If you want new experiences, you must develop new thoughts and new feelings right now, before those experiences appear. This is counterintuitive, because we're programmed to believe that external circumstances must change first, and then we'll feel differently. When I get the new job, then I'll feel successful. When I find the relationship, then I'll feel loved. When I achieve the goal, then I'll be happy. But Dispenza's research proves this is backwards. Your feelings don't come from your external circumstances. Your external circumstances come from your feelings. You must generate the feeling of success before you have the success. You must embody the emotion of love before you find the relationship. You must feel happy before you have reasons to be happy. This is what Dispenza means when he says you must think greater than your circumstances. You must become greater than the conditions in your environment and greater than the emotions connected to your past experiences. But this requires breaking the most powerful addiction humans face, the addiction to being yourself. Your personality, your habitual self, is literally a drug that your body craves. When you try to think new thoughts, your body resists because those thoughts don't generate its familiar chemistry. When you attempt to feel new emotions, your brain resists because those emotions don't fire its memorized networks. Your entire biology fights against change because familiarity equals survival to your nervous system. This is why Dispenza says that genuine transformation requires getting uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. When you're truly changing, you'll feel strange, unfamiliar, uncertain, like you're not yourself. And this feeling, this discomfort, is actually proof that you're succeeding. Because if change felt comfortable and familiar, you wouldn't be changing. You'd just be repeating the same patterns in a slightly different form. The process Dispenza teaches for breaking the loop goes like this. First, you must become conscious of your unconscious patterns. You must observe your habitual thoughts without judgment. Notice your automatic emotional reactions. Recognize your repetitive behaviors. You can't change what you're not aware of, and most people are completely unconscious of the patterns running their lives. Second, you must interrupt these patterns the moment you notice them. When you catch yourself thinking the same thoughts, stop. When you feel the familiar emotions arising, pause. When you're about to perform the automatic behavior, choose differently. Each interruption creates a gap in the pattern, a moment where change becomes possible. Third, you must mentally rehearse being a different person, someone who thinks differently, feels differently, acts differently. And you must rehearse this so thoroughly, so consistently, that your brain begins to fire and wire in these new patterns. Dispenza is research has shown that the brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and one that's vividly imagined. Mental rehearsal creates the same neurological changes as actual experience. Fourth, you must generate elevated emotions, joy, gratitude, love, inspiration, independent of any external reason. This is crucial because elevated emotions carry a higher energetic frequency that allows you to break free from survival-based emotions like stress, anxiety, and frustration that keep you locked into past patterns. When you can feel grateful before you have something to be grateful for, you're no longer dependent on external circumstances to change your internal state. Fifth, you must practice this consistently enough that the new thoughts become automatic, the new emotions become familiar, and the new behaviors become habitual. You're literally installing a new personality to replace the old one. And when this new personality becomes your new normal, it will automatically create a different personal reality, because different thoughts, feelings, and actions produce different experiences. But I need to be honest with you. This process is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Breaking the habit of being yourself means dying to who you've been while birthing who you're becoming. It means facing the discomfort of unfamiliarity every single day. It means choosing new thoughts and feelings even when your brain and body are screaming for the familiar patterns. It means persisting through the period when you feel like you're losing your identity because you're no longer operating from your memorized self. Most people quit during this uncomfortable transition. They try for a few days or weeks, don't see immediate results, feel strange and uncomfortable, and conclude that this doesn't work for me. But Dispenza's research shows that significant neurological change takes 60 to 90 days of consistent practice. You have to maintain the new thoughts and emotions long enough for your brain to rewire and your body to recondition. You have to be willing to feel unfamiliar long enough for the unfamiliar to become familiar. If you succeed, if you persist through the discomfort and consistently embody your new personality, something extraordinary happens. You wake up one day and realize you're no longer thinking the same thoughts. The old emotional patterns no longer have the same grip. The automatic behaviors have been replaced with conscious choices. You've actually become someone different. And because you're different, your day is different, your experiences are different, your life is different. This is what Dispenza means by breaking the habit of being yourself. You're not improving yourself or developing yourself. You're becoming an entirely different self. And this different self naturally creates a different reality, because reality is always a reflection of who you are being, not what you are doing. The question is, are you willing to let go of who you've been to become who you want to be? Are you ready to stop living the same day and start creating a new tomorrow? Are you brave enough to break free from the neurological and chemical addiction to your personality and step into the unknown territory of a new self? If you've recognized that you're trapped in the loop, if you're exhausted from living the same day in different disguises, if you're finally ready to break the habit of being yourself and create something genuinely new, then write in the comments, "I am breaking the loop," and commit to becoming someone new. Share this with someone stuck in repetition who needs to understand why. Your new life begins the moment you stop being your old self. Will you finally let yourself die to who you've been?